Welcome in everybody to Girl. How'd you get that gig for my co-host Celeste Gary? I am Amy G, and today's guest Celeste simply fascinates me. I have literally been stalking her on Instagram for
You have.
several years now. I mustered up the courage to ask if she would be willing to join us because I just think she's absolutely fascinating. Gina Wynn is a teacher turned coach and has honed in on using her skill set to become a health and macro coach. And we're going to get all into that. So, in the simplistic terms, she helps you with your diet. This feels really like an untapped space, Gina, in regards to coaching. So that's why we thought it would be so interesting to talk to you. And I just can't wait to dive into you. Thank you, Gina Wynn, for joining us.
I'm so excited, ladies. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank
Yay.
you.
Okay, so we're going to just start with your business. It's called Girl Gang Wellness, which you launched with your partner, Angie. And how would you describe what you two do and what exactly is a macro coach?
All right. We basically are listening to women on all the things that they have done in the past that have worked, but once they hit a certain age, stopped working.
Yes.
Gone are the days once you get close to 40 of just cutting back on your calories
Yep.
and then working out more. And that's what we did, in our 20s and 30s. And then when hormones came into play, we noticed that it just wasn't working anymore. And so we knew that if this isn't working for us, it's not working for most women who are
Mm-hmm.
going through all the changes. So we get a lot of information from our clients, our ladies that sign up with us, and a lot of them are in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
They are tired all the time. 2 p.m. shows up and they are just needing a nap. They don't have that energy. They are seeing some weight gain creep up in the
Oh,
midsection.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
I can relate.
They
Yes.
they are just noticing their skin's just though there's no, it's looser and they just don't feel like themselves. They're like, and it's like they tell us like I just don't feel like I'm in my body anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so really the macro piece, the macronutrition, the macronutrients piece is where we guide them. And so we give them a custom plan because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times when you are going through these changes, you think, well, I'm just going to stop eating or I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to eat a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have women coming to us who are eating literally like 700 calories a day. And we are like, that's where you're going wrong is you're under eating and you're over exercising. So let's flip the script and start fueling our body with what it needs,
Mm-hmm.
our hormones, our metabolism, because it's like, your metabolism is like a car, and if you're not giving it the fuel it needs, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do go where you want it to go. So we teach them how to properly fuel with the right carbohydrates, proteins, and
Mm-hmm.
fats. And it's going to be more than they're probably wanting to fuel their body with, but
Mm-hmm.
they start seeing the changes. And then they start seeing that when you get that sweet spot of protein, fats, and carbs, man, your metabolism lights on fire and they feel amazing. They start, building that muscle,
Mm-hmm.
losing the fat where they want to lose the fat. And they
Mm-hmm.
just, it's just a whole different process when we get into those, 40s.
Older years.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
love it.
Golden years.
Golden years. Yes. All right. Well, you currently live in Colorado, but you grew up in Oklahoma. Did you grow up playing sports or have any relationships with athletes? Were you into health at a young age?
Okay, this is so embarrassing, but I have never played a sport.
Ah,
Until now, I played like pickleball.
yes.
Um,
Yay.
It's my jam. Come
um,
play with me, Gina.
I love it. I did ballet and stuff as a young kid. But when I turned 16, I knew I wanted to work. So there's no time
Mm-hmm.
for sports. There was no time for that. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I grew up in Oklahoma. And all my friends were doing, basketball and soccer and all those things. And I wasn't. And
You were making money.
I was like, I came from a humble home and I just
Mm-hmm.
knew I had to buy my own car, pay for all my stuff, so it was like, I'm going to work. So
Yep.
I was a working woman. And I have a brother who played sports, my sister played sports. So it's not like I didn't come from like a family of sports. It just wasn't my
Wasn't
thing.
your thing.
But I
Yeah.
was very conscious of health.
Hmm.
So I did work out. So I
Hmm.
was, even at, a young age, I was still working out because it did made me feel good. And, my mom was the mom who was always doing something like
Mm.
Weight Watchers or
Oh,
Special K diet
uh-huh.
or the grapefruit diet. She did all the
All of
things.
them.
And so I just kind of watched her eating habits, which weren't great because if you think about it, you're just basically, starving yourself.
Hmm.
Um, and so I just kind of felt like working out was kind of like my outlet. I mean, I was going to
Hmm.
school, I was working, and so that was what I did, when I was home,
Yeah.
didn't off of work or even
Yeah.
early in the morning. So no, I did not play sports. But I've always, always, always been into health and fitness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing sports is not a prerequisite to be on our podcast.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you attended University of Oklahoma. What did you major in? And did you think back then you'd end up in as a health and wellness coach?
No, I actually, yes, I got my bachelor's in education.
Okay.
And so I went straight into teaching elementary students after college. Did that for 14 years and, second grade, fifth
Aw.
grade.
Oh,
Um,
those are
yeah,
the best
Yeah, they're
teachers.
yeah,
so cute.
it was great. I loved it. And then my husband started traveling a lot for work. And so we decided that I would just kind of stay home
Hmm.
and because it was basically like just me there. Because I mean, he would travel like 6 weeks at a time. So it's just me.
Mm,
But I
that's hard.
did still want to work because I do enjoy working. So what I did while I was a stay-at-home mom first was I started teaching infants how to survive if they were to fall in the water.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So I got certified in infant swim rescue, and we had a pool at our house. People were coming to my
Hmm.
backyard, and I
Hmm.
would teach little infants if they were to fall on how to fall into the water, how to roll over and float and save themselves until someone would rescue them.
Hmm.
Wow.
What a cool thing. And you got to play
Yeah.
with babies all
And it was so
day.
great. It
Oh,
was so
your
great.
little baby fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still am certified in that, and I still did that when I moved to Colorado as well. Um, it's just different here. We don't have a pool, so
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
finding a location here.
Hmm.
But while I was doing that, I also became a health coach.
So, like I mentioned prior to us starting to record, we always have a little pre-talk with our guests, and I was telling Gina that this isn't our typical type of interview. It's a little bit outside of the box. We usually interview women who have a career in sports somewhere. Either they're athletes or they work for a sports organization. But when I was talking to Celeste, I was like, coaching is coaching. And I love that you have this teaching background. And I think teachers make the best coaches, actually, just from my personal experience, in
Yeah.
my humble opinion. How do you feel your teaching background has helped your coaching career?
I agree with you. I think teachers make wonderful coaches. It is it really to me is no different other than I'm teaching adults,
Right.
which sometimes is a little bit
It could
harder.
be harder.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's just, go teaching them and I mean, I have women coming to me who don't know what a carbohydrate is, who don't know, that the sugar in fruit is a good sugar for you.
Right.
So teaching them about food and about fitness is, I think, why I decided to coach is because not
Mm,
only do I love health and fitness, but it's like, I love watching people grow in their knowledge of any
mm-hmm.
type of subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I love seeing them reach a goal. So
Mm-hmm.
whether it was a second grader, reaching a reading goal, or a fifth grader, reaching a math goal,
Math.
but this is an adult and
Health goal.
yeah, primarily women who are reaching a goal of either, I mean, there's so many different outcomes. Some of them are just so thankful that they can lift their grandchildren now. Some of them are
Mm,
so thankful that they can take stairs without losing their breath. And then some of them are like, I've lost, I've gone down 3 pant sizes, or
Hmm.
I fit into a dress that I haven't been able to wear in 5 years. So there's all different kinds of goals they reach, but it's so rewarding.
Yeah. Man, three pant sizes. I'm signing up, Gina. Okay, so again, I mentioned that I stalked you. I know that's just so weird, but I think that's what we do on social media.
We do.
You hooked me. So not only are you a teacher and a coach and an entrepreneur and you save babies, you also are a marketing genius because you hooked me by telling me I could lose weight while going through menopause and I could still drink wine. And I was
Yes.
like, sold, sold. What I need to know more. I need to know more because well, I'm in it. I am in it. And I hate feeling any time in my life that I have to give something up. I don't like that. And that's probably the competitive athlete in me that I'm like, I'm gonna figure this out and keep all these things. So I loved that approach. But I'd love just expand, if you would, on your approach to helping your clients shake old habits, especially when you're dealing with adults. You've got a lot of those. And then the ways of thinking about weight loss or gain, because you work with both,
Right.
and having that healthy relationship with food and your body. I think that's always my ultimate goal is where is that balance?
But I always tell my clients, if you are wanting to be in a bikini competition,
No.
strut across the stage with your heels and your bikini, I am not
No.
the person for you.
Right. Good.
Because that lifestyle is not one that I want any part of, because you do have to give up a lot.
So strict. It's
And
yeah.
then when you are
Hmm.
done with that goal or that competition, you go back to your old habits. It's not sustainable.
I don't think it's very, this is me saying this, not Gina. I don't think it's healthy either. I mean,
It's
it's
not.
weight gain, weight loss, weight gain. It's hard on your heart. They're
Your
so,
metabolism,
yep,
yeah.
they're so lean. It's, yeah, I couldn't, I don't have the discipline to do that anyway, but that makes a lot of sense.
So really the approach that I have is 80/20. So 80% of the time it is important to eat whole food nutrition, to fuel your body with, lean protein, fruits and vegetables, healthy carbohydrates. And then, you know, 20% of the time it's okay to have those things that make you happy as a person, that you look forward to. Because I mean, honestly, no, but not everyone's going to look forward to a big salad every single night. I mean, that's just, but if you treat it as 80% of the time you are great with your fitness and nutrition, and then
Hmm.
20% of the time have that glass of wine, have that
Hmm.
cookie, have that piece of pizza or
Hmm.
3 pieces of pizza, whatever. And so when you approach it that way, you are more um, susceptible to keeping that lifestyle than if you were to just go 100%
Hmm.
getting rid of all the sugars, all of the alcohol, getting rid of, all of those fun foods,
Hmm.
because then you're restricted. And restriction just leads to binging. It
Yeah.
just leads to
Or resentment
resentment,
towards food.
bitterness. Yep. And so you have to have a healthy relationship there. So I treat it daily. 80% of my day is fitness and whole food nutrition. And then 20% of my day, I am going to have that glass of wine, or I am going to have,
My girl.
that dessert. So it's
Yeah.
just, if you live your life with that balance,
Hmm.
then you're going to stick to those healthy habits more than if you were just to get rid of all of
Hmm.
those fun things.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And Gina, you focus on women who are 40 and over. What went into that choice, and what can you share about women that are struggling with menopause and they're going through weight gain, or, feeling like they have a different body, or basically feeling like they're just literally losing their mind?
Yeah, I think I,
I
I
mean,
really,
we didn't have any personal experience writing these questions, Gina, at all.
honestly, I think I focused more on women 40 and over because that's the season of life that I'm in.
Mm.
Um, I'm 46, and I was just telling you guys I'm in menopause.
Hmm.
And, when you see your body changing, when you start getting, you just start seeing that weight gain in your midsection. Things aren't fitting right. You're just tired. It was like there's got to be a way to fix this that's not just because a lot of, I mean, I know you all know this. Menopause is not talked about enough. It's not
I,
really researched enough.
A
Um,
thousand
I was
percent.
just I was just gonna say that because growing up, I don't remember any women around me talking about menopause ever. And I
no.
love that
No,
women are really starting to talk about this topic because, when you haven't heard about it forever and you start going through it, it's kind of terrifying because you haven't heard about it or heard anybody talk about it.
my
Well,
mom, I was just going to
yeah.
share that, like our background with this. My mom is super young. So she had me at 21 and she had my brother at 17. So she talked about everything. Like my mom was almost like too much for some people because she just talk about stuff because she was young enough and I was old enough that like I remember all of it. I think she was going through menopause when I got married, but she was an open book and none of my friends' moms talked about it.
Hmm.
None, none. But
I
my
think
friends
Yeah,
all
mine
talk
didn't.
about it now.
Mine
Yeah.
didn't.
I think it was more hush hush, like,
Mm-hmm.
like we're not going to discuss this.
Yeah.
Um,
Shameful.
it's
Yeah.
shameful.
Hmm.
Ever.
And so I know a big part of going through menopause and feeling better is fueling your body with what it needs and not really, taking away the things that make you happy throughout your day or your diet, I guess I should say. Um, there's things like, cardio. Cardio is great for cardiovascular, but it is terrible for hormones.
Mm,
It is not great for your hormones. It
mm,
raises your cortisol, it
mm-hmm.
raises your stress hormones, and those in itself can hold on to fat. So,
Yeah.
also as we age, our bones start losing density. And so we've got to lift weights. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to teach these women who've been cardio junkies, cardio queens for years, and you're trying to teach them, listen, that's great twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start lifting weights, your muscles are going to burn calories all day long. And that's what you want. That run is going
Yeah.
to burn calories for the 45 minutes that you're doing it.
Yeah.
That 45, 30-minute strength training workout, that's going to build the muscles that you want to see when you walk by the mirror, popped out of your little tank top. You want those muscles to burn those calories all day long for
Mm-hmm.
you, and you want them to protect your brittle bones as you
Mm-hmm.
age.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important to, and these are the things that I noticed when I turned 40, and I was like, these are my people. These women
Mm-hmm.
40 and over, they need to know this
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of them, my mom included, she strives to get 25,000 steps a day
Right.
because
It's a
she thinks that's
mm-hmm.
the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but you've got to be lifting weights.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you fall and you break a bone because it's not protected by, lean muscle,
Muscle.
Right.
there,
Yep.
that's the start of it.
Yep. And that's such a fear as you get older. My
Yes.
mom fell during COVID and broke her ankle and needed 14 screws and, whatever, the pins and all that stuff. And it was terrible. And she's a walker. My mom's a big walker. She does do yoga and she's very flexible, but she does not lift weights. And it's so interesting to listen to you because I don't know, Celeste, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like we're probably on the same page having been athletes all over. So I played volleyball at college, Celeste played basketball, been around athletes our whole career, and it is blazoned into our brain to do cardio.
Hmm.
It's so hard for me to not do it. And I've had to totally shift my mindset to weights and not believing in it and feeling like I'm not getting anywhere until you do it long enough that your body starts to shift as well.
Right.
But the mind shift has always been the hardest thing for me. So I want to go back to kind of this transition that you made. You talked about you decided to take some time in raising your children, but you were still thinking of things to do at home, and you got your certification in health fitness. Do I have that correct? Is that the correct
Um,
verbiage?
it's more of a macro coach.
A macro coach.
Yeah.
So, at what point during this transition did you think, this might be a full-time gig. And then what was the process of turning the idea into a business?
So I decided to do this macro program.
Mm-hmm.
It was the July before I turned 40. So it was July of 2018. And so I was 39 and I was kind of in this spot where I was like, I don't want to wear a two-piece anymore. Like, what's happening here? Like this is not my body anymore. And so I was like, I've been researching macros. I have been researching strength training because at the time I was just very cardio driven. And so I did a 6-week macro program. My results were insane. I was so lean. I had muscle that I didn't even know I ever could
Existed.
existed. And so my business partner, Angie, we just friends at the time, she came down for an OU football game
Mm.
and she was like, "You look great." And I was like, "Well, hang on, let me show you this picture." Because she saw me, just in my t-shirt and my jeans. And so I showed her a picture in my bathing suit and she was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
What is this? What I need to do this."
I'm in. Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, so here's the program that I'm doing. Try it, see what you think." And so she did the program. She absolutely loved it. And then this opportunity came up to be certified in this program. It's this macro coach program. And so we both decided, hey, let's look into this. She's a former teacher as well. And I thought, I just don't know why don't not many people know about this.
Mm.
And so we became certified. So I did the round in July, became certified in December, launched my first 6-week program in January, and it's just been so great since then. I mean, at first it was the family and friends that did the program, because I think I had like 500 followers on Instagram
Mm.
at the
Well,
time.
that has changed.
It
Yeah.
has.
Wow.
It has. And so,
Yes.
I didn't have any friends that were across the world at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
just had,
Mm-hmm.
and then they told people, and those people told people, and then it just kind of grew into just a bigger thing I could ever imagined.
That's great.
Referrals, man.
Yeah.
Referrals. We
Yeah.
love those.
And Gina, you work with people who have all sorts of body types, and a lot of people are stuck in that all or nothing kind of mindset. Like I know when I go to the gym, even if I'm next to someone who could care less about what I'm doing, like I want to beat them, you know what I mean? I just like, oh, I gotta compete against you. It's the athlete and the me or something.
I'm gonna
Um,
get
yeah,
you,
exactly. And they're just like, whatever.
even though you're
Uh,
not participating.
yeah, exactly. But when it involves weight loss or body image, it's kind of like akin to an athlete's mindset, right? Like, and you're conveying a narrative that pushing harder isn't always the answer for long-term results. And you talked about building muscle and all of that, but can you tell us more about this approach, like especially like the mindset approach about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you work with the mental side?
So I talk about this on my page as well. Like, I don't I don't weigh myself often because I don't think the number on the scale is a good measurement of how hard you've been working or the progress that you
Mm-hmm.
have been, gaining. Because when we step on a scale, it's everything on our body. It's not just the fat you lose, it's your bones, your skin, your
Mm-hmm.
blood, water weight. It's everything on your body. That number just says what's in your body. So my bones could be smaller than somebody else's bones who their bones are going to weigh more than mine, and
Mm-hmm.
then they're comparing themselves to me, and I'm like, but that shouldn't matter. That's not the mindset we should have. The mindset we should have is, how do you feel in your clothes? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? How do you feel throughout
Mm-hmm.
the day? Are
Mm-hmm.
you sleeping well? Are you craving sweets? Are you craving, but we're trying those are the things that we're trying to teach the women, our clients, that it's not just about the number on the scale. And I have
Mm-hmm.
2 daughters, and I don't want them to think it's ever about the number on the scale
Mm-hmm.
either.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a hard approach. Being a health and fitness coach, they see me talking about this on social media, but the way it's approached is it's to fuel your body, it's to fuel your muscles. So I'm if I'm measuring, if I'm weighing some chicken, I don't want them to think I'm weighing it because that's all I need to eat. I'm weighing it because I want as much protein as I can get to fuel the workout that I did today,
Mm,
to fuel my hormones, to fuel my
mm,
metabolism. So it's tricky, but I think as a society, we're getting better at it. We're
mm-hmm,
getting better at saying, you know, it, skinny is not healthy. What's
mm-hmm,
healthy is strong and, you know, vibrant, energetic.
mm-hmm.
All of those things show a healthy person, not just the number on the scale.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I have a daughter right here and a son. But Gracie just turned 18 Sunday, and her whole group, and she's an athlete. She played 4 years of varsity volleyball, but she wants to be strong. That is
Mhm.
what I hear all the time is I want to be strong. And like I just laughed because her jury's like, I want to have a nice butt, like I want my butt to pop, like things that when I was 18, I was like, I don't want my butt to like
I know.
I want it like narrow and just nope, nope. And they have such a different perspective and a healthier
They
perspective
do.
on which is very difficult in social with social media. I mean, because there's so much BS going on social media that I'm so thankful that she wants to be strong in all of this. But yes, I think you're completely right that we're seeing a shift in society as to what women can look like and that we are all different and we all weigh different and all of what
Yeah.
you're saying is so true. Yeah. And it's our differences that we all have in common, if that makes sense. Like that we're different is our commonality. So,
Right.
okay. So this is something I don't know you, but I'm just I'm very proud of you. So I was already following you, and then I saw you make a shift on your social to be more engaged in what's happening politically in our country. And I I couldn't be more on the same page with you.
You're
Uh,
making me cry, by
I
the
know.
way.
Well, I have not had the courage. My fan base is the Giants fans,
Yeah.
and when you start to go outside of your lane in social media, you need to be prepared for a pretty bad backlash and
Yep.
loss of followers. And, for you, that is affects your business. It affects my business. And so for most of my career, I've been private about my politics, even though I think I've been somewhat subtly obvious, where I stand,
Right.
especially with my posts. There's certain things I'll always post about, whether it's women's rights or Title IX and all of that. And that pretty much puts you in your category. But Gina took the jump and you are not messing around. And I
No.
absolutely love it.
Mm.
You did lose followers. You also gained a lot of followers.
Yep.
And I want to know what the tipping point for you was and why you decided to speak up, especially when you knew it was going to impact your business.
Um, Throughout 2025, I sprinkled some things here, like in my social media here
Hmm.
and there, and I would lose a few followers and I would get a lot of hate comments and a lot of negative comments. So then I would back off a little bit because I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't mix the two. I probably shouldn't mix the two. And then I would have like an urge here and there. And it was, throughout the year. And then I, like I said, have two daughters.
Yep.
I just knew that I needed to speak out because they need to see that it's okay to speak out.
Hmm.
They need to see that it's okay to go against what the majority of people that we know or, friends, family, it's okay to speak out. And and you should. You shouldn't just stand back and let something happen. And if you have a strong feeling about it, then you need to stand up about it. And that's where it got to me, um, was just the way that where our country is headed.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know how much you want me to say on here, and you can cut out whatever you want.
Say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was really upset with ICE. Um,
Yeah.
I come from, my dad is Italian. His father came over from Italy. Um, and I just think like we are going from this place where our country is a melting pot. And that's what makes it fabulous is there's so many cultures here. And now I'm seeing this like where they only want it to be just one culture. And it just makes me sad. And then the way that people are being treated and the murders and the kidnappings and, children being involved. And then, I mean, I could go on and on and on,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I just felt like this is not okay to, I mean, if you went to my feed, my Instagram feed, it's all political. Um, just, news after news after news. And I think
Hmm.
it's when it's this much is happening, I was like, I have to say something. I have to
Hmm.
stand up. And so now
Hmm.
it's here. And yes, I've lost a lot of followers, but I just don't care.
Well, their
I don't.
followers, I think you realize when you do take a plunge. A few times I've, voiced my opinion on something, which is so funny. I remember back when it was really just Twitter, like maybe
Mhm.
2011, 2012, and I made some kind of comment about what was happening politically in the world, and I got a rash of responses saying, "Can you just stick to your lane and
Mhm.
just talk sports?" And I ended up writing a blog about it when blogs were popular about how far we've come with that statement. How many times have we heard men tell us to talk about, you're telling me to talk about sports? Now it's okay that I talk about sports because
Right.
30 years ago it wasn't okay that we talked about sports. It was shut up, stay in your lane and raise your children, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I did see some progress within that. And it takes people like Gina and the courage to say something, take the hit to inspire others to say something or realize that you're going to make it through when you do. Um, but I told Celeste, I was like, we have to talk about this because I'm just so I already liked you because I was like stalking like I said, and then I'm like, oh no, we'd probably be friends. Like that it flipped it for me even more where I was just like, you go. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's not an easy
absolutely.
thing to do, and
It gets
I'm
easier though. It's getting
well,
easier.
sure. And so, well, before we go to the next question, Celeste, will you describe your segment you have about it's kind of like mean tweets, but you share some of the comments that you get from people. And, I mean, we're not surprised by anything we're seeing. The stuff we've been told in our careers, especially when you're on camera, like, so actually, you would appreciate this. I remember one comment so vividly was like, when ABG comes on the air, it makes me want to go take a bowel movement. And I wrote him back. I'm so glad that I can help you be regular. It's important. That's an important part of your day to be healthy. But that's, I mean, just like that kind of stuff. And but what about your say if you'll share your segment that you
Oh, I did
started?
start a new series,
Yeah.
and it's random messages and comments that I receive throughout the week. Um, and it's people who are they'll read something that I posted on Instagram, political like a political post, or sometimes I don't even think it's political. I think it's just human decency or human compassion. I don't think it's always framed as
I
political.
agree. I agree.
And then they will say the most random things, or I'll get messages and they will tell me that same thing, stay in your lane. I liked you better when you posted about health and fitness and recipes. They will give me information. And I'm like, thank you for this information, but you do realize this is completely false information. And I know exactly where you're getting it from, but it's not true. Like, go do your research. And so I started this series just to kind of like out these people
Hmm.
that and it's so funny to me that people have to tell you they have to announce their departure,
Uh-huh.
that they're leaving, that they're
Yeah.
unfollowing.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sad.
I'm so sad. And I didn't even know you were following me in the first place. Like but go ahead. Like if your morals and values do not align with mine, then it's probably best that you're not here.
Yeah. I can't
Um,
tell you how many times I've written somebody who announces that they're not following me anymore, and I was like, "Why were you following me?" Or why or they don't leave you, but they say something horrible to you. And you're like, "Why are you following me?" Like,
yeah,
I have a right to post what I want. You don't have to follow it. It's
yeah,
real easy. Real
yeah,
easy. solution here. Yeah, it's
And I have had a few clients leave, um, who have, and I said, it's totally up to you. I just want you to know that I will never coach you differently than anybody else. Like I will coach you the same way that I coach everybody.
mhm,
So my morals and values and beliefs, they don't align with yours, does not mean I'm going to treat you
right,
differently.
because you're a
I'm going
pro.
to
Hmm.
still coach you at the best I can.
Hmm.
Maybe you should just unfollow me or mute
Yeah,
me or block
yeah,
me,
yeah.
and decide whatever you want to do. But I will tell you that I'm not the kind of person that's going to treat you
Yeah,
differently.
you're not going to be biased about it, and
No,
which is what our whole country's about. Like you can
right,
think what you want, I think what I want, we can still be friends.
right.
And somewhere along the line, that has, well, we know when it started to change, but that you're either here or here, and no, there's no in between now, none.
No. And I am
Yeah.
hoping, I do have some hope that I'm I can change some people's minds.
Okay.
And maybe that's silly,
I
but
don't think you're
No.
silly. I just don't think I'm there anymore. I
yeah,
I totally hear you. I'm older than you. I got you by 6 years. Not that that's so much has happened in that time, but I think I'm at a point where I don't care about changing people's minds. I,
yeah,
I think I realized well into my career and 8 million phone calls to Celeste where I'm crying after a broadcast or I mess something up or whatever, because I was under public scrutiny for so long, that you aren't going to make everyone happy and you are not going to change people's minds. That,
yeah,
like, if you can let go of that's my kind of health advice is if you can let go of that hope, and you have hope in the people who are your friends who feel the
mhm,
same way, or you have a good relationship with somebody who thinks differently, but you can have conversations about it and it doesn't, it's not volatile. That's where I'm at now. And it's not about not having hope. It's just, I'm not going to waste my energy hoping they change because I know they feel just as strong about their side as I feel about mine. They really see their side as right.
but it's not,
50% of
it's
the
not right.
country thinks different, and it's not, but 50% of the country thinks differently than I do. And
Yep,
that's staggering.
it
And
is.
so I know I can't take that on, but I can take on me and I can take on bringing you on to talk about this. We can control what we post on our Girl Gig platform, which we took a little plunge last night and decided to dive into the hockey controversy and what Trump said to the hockey team, which was, really shitty about the
Yeah.
women's team. And that's what we can do. But that I hear you. And I'm glad there's people like you because we need people like you that still have hope. I'm getting to be a little curmudgeon, a menopausal mid mid chunky midsection curmudgeon. But that's okay because I still have my wine because I'm allowed to have it.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
I would say I still have hope like Gina.
Yeah, Celeste is very positive.
I try to be positive. I
You are.
think, it's always interesting the timing of our podcast guest, Amy. We talk about this
Mhm.
all the time, like stuff is happening in our lives. And I had a client this week who was told that she could not mention women in one of her empowerment sessions she's doing for a company. And this is an HR group, right? That
Wow.
she was told this. And we were talking about it, and then the next day I saw that someone is suing Coca-Cola because they had a women's empowerment weekend, which we see all the time, right? We see
Yeah,
Nike do
Right.
this, we see
yeah.
ESPN doing this, we see ESPN having a Sunday night just for women. And now men are starting to sue, and other people in the companies are starting to sue because they're not invited to these women empowerment events.
Oh my God, that's so
So
funny.
I think what I see is it's so scary, coming from like a corporate background for most of my life, is a lot of these corporate people can't speak up, right? They're told not to.
Or it's in their
And
contract.
yeah, it's in their contract. They
Yeah.
can't say anything. So thank goodness for people like you, Gina. It's like business owners that are speaking their mind, right? And maybe people are fearful about commenting or saying something, but they're with you. So I think, it's great that you're using your voice and getting out there. Do you agree with that though? Like, you think fear of losing followers or clients keeps like a lot of people silent, especially women in business? Or what's your advice to them?
I think that is a big reason
Mhm.
that people are Or they'll say, I'm not political,
Mm,
or I don't do politics. But at this point, it's like you have to have a voice now. But I think that's kind of the excuse because they're afraid to lose followers, um, and lose business. And I'd like to say to them is you will,
mhm,
but then you will gain
mhm,
a lot more respect from people who find you, and you will gain new business,
mhm,
even more followers if
Mhm.
that's what you're worried about. You will. It's just you've got to get that out of your mind
mhm.
because I mean, I don't know how these people are sleeping at night when
I
they
knew you were
say,
gonna say that. Either how you look in the mirror or how you sleep at
I
night.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
I just don't. When you, it's not that you're not political, it's that you're too afraid.
Hmm.
And it's okay. It's okay to say what you want to say how you feel about things.
Hmm.
And not everyone's going to agree with you. We just discussed that. That's the beauty of this country. The beauty of this world is everyone has different opinions and
Yep.
different morals and values and
Yep.
beliefs, and that's okay. That's what makes this so great.
Hmm. Well, and it's interesting because you're in a different state. So a lot
Mhm.
of what we hear in California is my vote doesn't matter anyway because it's gonna
Mhm.
go blue.
Mhm.
And so I really encourage local voting. I mean, I encourage voting, and we were so excited. Grace turned 18. We're like, you get to vote. Like that was the first thing we said to her on her birthday. She's like, okay, do I have any presents? And it's probably going to be her generation that we start to see some real change just because of how much more they are talking about various topics that we never talked about growing up. I
Right.
mean, we didn't talk about menopause. We didn't talk about anybody being gay. We didn't
Yep.
talk about anybody being trans. It was all of that. And now it's really like my kids, I'll just speak to my kids, are kind of like, great, whatever. Like there's
Yeah.
no impact, there's no effect on the differences, and it's really refreshing to see that. So
I
anyway, okay,
agree.
so we're gonna wrap up here. We got a few more for you. I know you need to go and coach people and get your wine open. What would you say has been the most rewarding part of building a community around health that is really rooted in self-care? What's been rewarding about that for you?
Really just the women I've been meeting and just like I said, seeing them grow in confidence. Um, because every Friday we do like a Friday non-scale victory. And the feedback that comes in from our clients is so great. And it's not always about I lost 10 pounds,
Yeah.
but it's like I went to the doctor and my blood pressure is the lowest it has been, in years. My doctor said all my labs were perfect and whatever I'm doing to keep doing it. So
Mhm.
it's just the confidence, their wins that they get weekly or even, monthly,
Mhm.
yearly. That is what keeps me going,
Mhm.
is just watching how these women change and how much better they feel. They're no longer in the back of a picture, they're up front in a picture.
Right? Yep.
They're not afraid to, women, there's some clients that were like, I don't go to events because I don't feel good there. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident. And now they're doing all these things. So it's really so cool to see how they change.
Poor
Mm.
Celeste and I will never be in front of the picture because we're
We're
six
too
we're
tall.
we're 6 footers. So
Oh
Always in the
my
back.
gosh, you're
yeah.
6 feet?
Celeste is 6 feet. I'm foot adjacent. I'm
Yeah.
5'10". But if I wear heels, I'm over 6 feet. Yeah.
And you both played volleyball?
I
I
played
played
volleyball.
basketball.
She's a basketball player.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's at
Okay.
LSU and I went to UC Davis. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to talk. Oh, I need to know. My sister, my youngest is looking at UC Davis.
Oh, an
Mhm.
Aggie. Yes, please let me
Um,
know what you need. It's my
and then and
favorite
then
lake.
my brother-in-laws, they went to LSU.
Ah,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
wow.
Yeah.
And my
So,
daughter got
I
into
like that.
Colorado State. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
oh
Finishing the
Yay.
trifecta. Yeah.
wow.
She's not gonna go there, but she got in there. Yeah.
That's
So
Okay.
great.
yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Okay, well, we talked about this earlier. There are a lot of younger girls who are, feeling strong about being in sports and all of that, but we're also seeing a lot in the media where a lot of young girls are quitting sports altogether because of social media or their body image.
Hmm.
So, if somebody's struggling with their relationship with food or body image, Gina, where's one place that they could start today? Because it really alarms me all these girls are quitting sports because even in high school, we had athletes. They weren't star athletes. They just signed up to have exercise, right? They signed up just to be part of something bigger than themselves and to have that community and that
Community.
team. And it really scares me that, these girls quit and they feel so bad about their body and stuff at a young age because that's only going to continue into their 30s and 40s, right? Like
Yeah.
I think we need to like look at that group too.
Well, I'll tell you with I have, like I said, I have two daughters. I have one that is 5'4", teeny, like little. And then I have one who's 5'9", athlete, strong, muscular. And it to me and how I handle this is your bodies are built for what you're supposed to do. All
Hmm.
right. So, and it also for me is who you are watching and researching and following.
Hmm.
There are so many women athletes who have such a great message and are so confident in themselves and their body image. And those are the people I want my girls following and looking at and watching.
Hmm.
So really just, you know, I guess talking to them about their body image, talking to them about, you know, you're fueling your body properly. I mean, you are not going, you're not going to build that muscle and you're not going to feel good unless you're fueling your body with good stuff. But also it's just that image of, and I do think we're doing a better job now, especially with, you know, Olympic athletes, women
Hmm.
who are proud of their bodies and who are proud of their height and their
Hmm.
size and their
Hmm.
strength and their abilities. And
Hmm.
it does make me sad that girls are dropping out of sports because of this, because of a bad body image. I just think that as parents and as women, we need to talk about it more
Hmm.
on strong is sexy, strong is healthy.
Hmm.
You know, though gone are the days of
Wave,
skinny being, yeah.
wavy.
There used to be
Hmm.
that saying, um, nothing tastes better than being skinny.
Hmm.
That is
Well,
ridiculous.
our whole generation, I mean, the supermodel launched during our generation
Oh
with like
yeah.
a Cindy
Hmm.
Crawford and a Claudia Schiffer. And they were, I remember Elle McPherson on the cover of Sports Illustrated. My brother was so excited. She was six, 16 because he had a subscription to it. And I remember seeing her and feeling like she had curves, right?
Mhm.
Like we started to see in the supermodel era some more curves, but then there was always like a Kate Moss or that at 5'10, I was trying to look like that.
Right.
And that my body doesn't do that. Like that's a place I try and get with my children or students that I have at Sonoma State. It's like you're built like just like Gina said, you're built this way for a reason. And so you have to
Yeah.
be realistic about what your body can do
Right.
and how much you are able to morph it. And so there's going to be a version of you that's the healthiest version, and that's the goal is to find that. And then there's a lot of work mentally about accepting I'm never going to be like your daughter. I'm never going to be 5'4" and petite.
No.
I never even touched the petite section in my life. And I remember just like I would just really like to be a size 2. What, and I don't know why. And then small people are like, "Oh my God, I'd like to be able to reach the dishes at the top." I mean, I just helped somebody at a store this weekend. She was like, "Oh, I can't." Her friend's like, "Can you grab that for me?" She said, "No, I can't get it." I'm like, "Do you want me to get it for you?" I'm like, "Oh my God." So everybody has, the pluses and minuses of what you get with what you have. So
And I don't think it ever goes away as far as
mm,
wishing you had something that you didn't,
totally
or
curly hair, straight hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of
comparing
it.
yourself. I don't think that ever really is something that you stop thinking about,
Hmm.
but I think it's more of what am I proud of
Hmm.
myself?
Hmm.
I'm proud that
Yeah.
I can do a deadlift with 70 pounds. Like
Right?
that's like I'm
Yeah.
proud of those things.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of showing those girls like,
Yeah.
here's what are you proud of yourself? Let's focus on
Mm-hmm.
those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is next for you and how can people work with you and find your content?
Well, you can follow me at White Grapes and in Shape on
I
Instagram.
I do. I do.
I have a website, girlgangwellness.com. And the next thing we have going on, when is this airing? I don't know.
Two weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay. So I'll have another 6 week round coming up April 6th. And then 5 times a year, I do a 5-day detox. So
Mhm.
that's something to be looking for. You can always look on the website, but the detox is great. I have one coming up next week, and it's really just a 5 days to reset. There's healthy recipes, detox smoothies, workouts. There's detoxing from social media, from your phone.
That's
Um, you know,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all kinds of, it's just a good way to kind of just reset your
Reset.
metabolism. And I do that 5 times a year. So
Mhm.
Ooh,
Good
okay.
stuff. Good stuff. All right. So to end it, Gina, what's the best piece of advice that has really stayed with you through your journey that you've been given that you could give others?
through my health journey
Anything. It can be
Anything
anything.
in life.
in life, oh gosh, you guys did not prepare me for this.
No, I know.
It's a
It's how
deep one.
we like to end it on a whopper.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like the best piece of advice. I would say, you know, this is something that I have recently, and I'd say in the last 2 years, is find some hobbies that make you happy.
Mhm.
Hobbies that'll take you into your 40s, 50s, 60s. Don't find hobbies alone to do by
Mhm.
yourself
Mm.
that will make you happy
Mm.
because you cannot, and I did this because I'm going to be an empty nester soon. And I was like, I'm going to start now. I'm going to start doing things for myself, self-care things that I enjoy.
Mhm.
And I know that was a lot to say for one piece of advice, but
No, it's
find
great.
hobbies
That's
that make
great.
you happy. And if it's walking, make that your healthy hobby. I started needlepoint.
I knew you did needlepoint because my grandmother did needlepoint and she's from Ohio. Well, she's gone. R.I.P. grandma. But Ohio to Oklahoma to California.
Oh
And like
wow.
it was a very popular Midwest hobby to have was
Yeah.
needlepoint. I saw you were doing
Needlepoint,
that.
mahjong.
Hmm.
I started playing pickleball. I my husband thinks I'm crazy, but I told him I want to start learning how to ride a horse. I've never done
Oh,
that before, and this is just a hobby I want to start. So
Cool.
Colorado's probably a really good place to do that too.
there's a place
Yeah.
not too far, but my birthday's coming up in April, so I said that's what I want for my birthday is some lessons.
Fun.
Ooh, look
So
for it on Instagram.
I actually told him I wanted to learn how to play polo, and he's like, "Do you know how hard that is?" He's like, "I couldn't play polo."
That's
I just
great.
think it's very cool.
Oh my gosh, you could go play with King Charles and just,
Uh-huh.
like get out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
We'll just stay away from his brother. Anyway, that's a good one to end on. You are just I thank you so much for doing this and
Yes,
for
thank you.
accepting and saying yes. Like that to me is one of these lessons Celeste and I are learning is just go ahead and ask. You never know. I mean, she can
This
say
has been
no.
the most
Yeah.
podcasts I've been on, by the way.
What's that?
So
Oh,
this is the most fun podcast I've been on, by the
Oh
way.
my gosh, thank
yay!
This
you.
has
Well,
been
Love
the
maybe
hearing
best.
that.
our very few followers will hear you because we need to tap into your marketing brain because we're like struggling or like the little train that could, but we so believe in what we're doing that it really doesn't matter because this is like one of the funnest things I do in my life. This is one of our fun hobbies
This
is
Mhm.
is
talking to
great.
people like you. So thank you. You're
Yes.
amazing.
You.
And keep
Thank
on
you.
keeping on. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it.
You've been listening to Girl, How'd You Get That Gig with hosts Amy G and Celeste Gehring. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. The handle is @GirlGigPodcast.
Followers and subscribers are automatically entered to win our giveaway prizes, announced every other Wednesday on our Instagram page. Until our next episode, go get that gig.